WBNE.
Dear listener, today's going to be a good day, and here's why.
Because today we're going on strike. I'm Becca.
I'm Casey.
And I'm Iny, and this is Sincerely Us, a podcast for the casual musical theater fan. Hello.
Hello.
How are you, Case?
I am swell.
You're swell?
Yeah, I'm swell. How are you? How are both of you?
Great.
I'm good.
Great.
I'm so excited to be recording this episode.
Oh, I'm so excited too. I can't wait.
So before we get into the topic, okay? Our guest today is Casey Winters of the show Hello from Elsewhere. He and his wife Valerie discuss and break down themes and fictions from Star Wars to Harry Potter to Willow, I guess. It's both of our favorite show, and we are so excited to have fellow WBNE creator and our friend on the show today to discuss one of our favorite shows. I already welcomed you, but my notes say welcome Casey, so I'm going to say welcome
hello.
Casey.
Hi, I don't know why I'm welcoming myself, but hello.
Hello from Elsewhere.
Yes, hello from elsewhere, and we're here to discuss the Willow musical, the greatest musical of all time.
That's exactly what we're discussing today.
We're actually, so little insider to our listeners, probably like November, we were talking about guests to have on the show, and we were having a conversation with Casey, and he mentioned he'd never seen Newsies the musical. He'd only seen the movie, and we hadn't seen the movie. We'd only seen the musical. So thus, this episode was born.
Perfect. It was destiny.
It was destiny, because I didn't know that the Newsies movie was a musical. I just thought it was a straight movie.
I love that so much. Makes me so happy.
I knew it was a musical. I just didn't, I don't think I was ready for what I was going to watch.
I don't think I was ready for Christian Bale to sing.
At all. I was not.
This isn't sounding good. I'm worried.
Uh-oh. What's not sounding good? Oh, I thought you meant your audio.
No, not from a technical
the way that we're
standpoint.
talking.
From a critical
I
standpoint.
liked it.
Okay.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. I thought it was, I did. I mean, Newsies, the musical, already has like a super special place in my heart. So like it's going to be very difficult for me to not like the movie that it's based off of.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I literally like watched the whole thing. Like, that's Batman. That is Batman. So that was a little like weird for me. But like once I got over the whole like Batman of it all, then I really enjoyed it.
What's funny is that, Becca didn't know it was a musical. Nor did Christian Bale when he it was not going to be a musical. It was going to be a drama. He was just a few years out from Steven Spielberg's Empire of the Sun, and he's ready to do some more dramas like that.
Yeah.
He signs up for this, harrowing drama about young boys dealing with, all this sad
strife.
Strife. That's a good word. And signs up for it. And then Disney's like, wait. Let's turn it into a musical. And by then it's too late. Christian Bale's already part of it. He's got to learn to sing and dance, just like the rest of the boys.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So that's why for years, Christian Bale didn't want to ever talk about Newsies. He his friends would try to bring it up. And he's like, I'm not going to talk about Newsies. He was not, it took him a long time to heal, he said. So.
Oh no!
He wasn't a fan of it.
I get it.
Right.
He definitely isn't like the actor that I think of when I'm like, yeah, totally musical theater movie, absolutely.
Right.
Well, that's why
Christian Bale.
That's why when someone told me that Christian Bale was Jack Kelly, I was like, oh, this isn't a musical, obviously. Like, I thought it was the Les Mis. You know how they have like a straight Les Mis movie? That's what I thought it was. But like, even that's very obvious to me when you watch him perform Santa Fe. Because like, Jack Kelly in the musical has no dancing besides like cutting a newspaper in half and swinging his feet back and forth.
Right.
And then there's a whole dance break in Santa Fe, and I'm like, oh, poor baby. It is so obvious you're not a dancer. I feel so bad for you. Like, not in a mean way, but I'm like, you must have been so upset. But he pointed his toes, and that's all I care about as a dance teacher.
Yeah, so I quote Santa Fe a lot in my life. Like, a lot. So watching him, it was just such a different scene than it is in the musical. But I was just like, wow, this is very different. So, like, the movie obviously has a lot of different parts than the musical. What did you think of the musical, by the way? We're here talking about the movie.
Well, it's the same thing, just in reverse. Like, it's hard for me to
separate them.
Can I give some background here?
Yes,
So,
I would love it.
So I grew up with the movie. Like, it was always on in our house, or we always had this CD on our old 90s stereo. My dad was always playing it and singing along. Like, we're always trying to do the dance moves. Like, it was a big part of our childhood was Newsies. And
that's awesome.
And so when they released the cast album for the stage version, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I started listening to it, and I hated it. And and I think it was just because it was different. You know, I wasn't in the headspace to appreciate that it's okay that it's different. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, like just subtle things, little changes in the lyrics. And I'm sure you experienced it just in reverse, the same exact way. So I think it's just, you know, you've talked about it on your show before, how the first one we see is going to color how we view the second one. So.
Oh, absolutely.
So on that note, what did you think of it?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't even answer your question.
That's okay.
I really like it. And the first time I saw the stage version was in a high school production, which probably isn't the best way to go about it. But it actually wasn't bad. And I really liked it. And I took 7-year-old son, who's a big Newsies fan as well. And he loved it too. And we had a great old time. And then back in this past summer, my dad was in a production of it, like a local production. He was Mr. Wiesel. And so, of course, he invited...
Your dad is so cool.
He invited me and the 2 oldest kids to go watch it. So they had a blast then, too. It was like it was in an outdoor theater, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like musical theater outdoors is like so different. I've seen In the Heights outdoors and like complete different experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, especially because both Newsies and In the Heights, a lot of it takes place outdoors.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool take on that. Like I've seen a lot of shows outdoors because we have a local theater that is like an outdoor theater that does a huge show every summer. But I think my favorite was Mary Poppins just because of all the outdoor scenes. So, but honestly, I think that seeing a teen production of Newsies is like the way it should be told, because while I'll say I like the musical more only because it's a Broadway level musical, I liked seeing how young the kids were in the movie, and I think that their ages didn't take me out like sometimes it does with the musical, especially Jack.
Right.
I don't know about that.
Jack,
Christian Bale did not look 17 in that movie. I don't know how old he was.
I thought he did.
I did not think he looked 17.
He was about that age, yeah. Because he's still pretty young.
He did not look it. I don't know. I think I'm just like stuck in the fact that like that's Batman in my head.
Well, he doesn't even look like Batman in this. He has long hair and he's young.
And he wears a cowboy hat.
I know. So that was one of the biggest things that I loved. They called him Cowboy, that he had his own nickname instead of just Jack.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that in the musical.
No, he
doesn't.
Love it. Yeah. And it fits the Santa Fe thing. They took it out.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, back to the high school production thing. It actually was pretty good, and they got to do some cool things. Like, you know, in high school, there's not as many males that necessarily go out for drama, so they actually had quite a few female newsgirls, which was a lot of fun. I think they even got a bunch of people like from the dance team or gymnastics team to
that's awesome.
Up the production level of the dancing. It was really great. And then they did cool things like toward the end when there's the big rally, they threw newspapers from the rafters down into the crowd, which was fun.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they were able to do a lot of cool things like that. So, yeah, I thought it was great.
Well, when I saw it, oh my God, a year ago, that makes me so sad. Because it's like one of my favorite theater shows I've ever seen is when I saw Newsies from a local teen troupe. Spot Conlon, he was played by a woman, and the whole joke, and his whole team was a woman, so the whole joke was the reason they were scared of them is because they were women.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I love that.
the super scary, mean character was played by a woman, and like they were the only girl Newsies.
Oh, that's great.
Because obviously most of the people in his troupe were ensemble members, so when they were part of the actual Newsies, like the Manhattan Newsies, they dressed up as boys. But the second they were Spot Conlon's Newsies, they were girls. It was such a cool take on that. Also, that was one of the things that I don't like about either production is that they don't have a girl character in the Newsies at all, when that's like historically inaccurate.
Right.
Because there were a lot of news girls, just because there's only so many sewing jobs that they could do. But one of the biggest, I think, because there were a lot of things I liked about the movie more than the musical, but one of the things I liked about the musical more than the movie is the fact that the reporter, is played by a woman, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they changed the whole reporter character.
Yeah, I miss Bill Pullman because I love him. The same thing, but I think that was the best. The best thing that the stage musical does is her character. I think she's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely love her. We talked about her.
She is, she's one of my favorite musical characters in general, and I just love Cara Lindsay, who played her originally on Broadway. But she's also the one that's in the musical, like the recorded version. I think it's one of my favorite like tropes across fiction is the woman like love interest that the really like leader tough guy, where she's just like, no, I'm not listening to you, you're wrong. Like, you're dumb and I'm the only one that stands up to you. That's like one of my favorite tropes. It's kind of why I love To All the Boys I've Loved Before, to go off on a tangent. I'm re-listening to those books right now. God. And that's like the biggest trope in it, is that the girl's like, no, you're dumb, I don't care that you're popular, which is the same thing Catherine Plummer is.
Yeah.
But one of the things I liked about the movie more than the musical is they cut obviously they added Medicine, but to me they cut Medicine and Joe Pulitzer's song, both of their songs, which are my least favorite on the soundtrack. So they didn't sing Bottom Line or That's Rich in the original, which is great.
Yeah,
that's fine. Let's go back to that.
I was going to say, I think the one thing I don't like about the stage production is Pulitzer. I think that song is kind of cheesy and And I mean, you can't beat Robert Duvall. He's just really good as Pulitzer. So
yeah, he's great.
I did like though that Meta was played by a black woman.
Yes,
and like her arc was a lot different, which was cool.
Oh, is it my turn? Okay.
Yeah, well, you were talking, so I
was trying to make sure you were done. So one of the biggest things that I really liked in the movie versus the show is that Davy doesn't wear like his cap until like the end.
Yeah.
And like I really wish they would have done that in the musical, which they don't. And it was just like this whole like he doesn't consider himself a newsie, like he's just, this is all temporary to him. And then at the end he puts his hat on and like I like definitely shed a tear a little bit. And I was just like, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I really like him and Jack's relationship a lot more in the movie. It's a lot more about being brothers, I guess. Yeah,
I think it's developed a lot more in the movie than it is in the show.
Absolutely. Like I think that they become much more of a duo in the movie. Whereas before, Davy just kind of like jumps into it, which makes sense. They had to leave room for songs. I mean, dumb songs like Meta and Pulitzer songs, but it's fine. But I really like that they became friends and then the strike happened. Like Davy like adopted him basically into his family.
Yeah, but see, then I feel like the relationship between Jack and Crutchy is more developed in the musical than it is in the movie. And like, I love Crutchy.
Me too. Andrew Keenan Bolger.
Smile that spreads like butter, right?
Yes. That was, so if we ever, this will never happen, but if we ever get to sit down with Alan Menken, I'm honestly, this is for real. If I was to sit down with Alan Menken, I would have a list of the lyrics from the movie and the lyrics from the show. And I would be like, why did you change all of these? Tell me your thought process, because
they all feel so small and random. And I think that's probably why when I first listened to it, I was like, what, why? I didn't understand it.
Like, in Carrying the Banner, I mean, I know the whole soundtrack pretty much by heart, but in Carrying the Banner, I was trying to sing along, and I was like, I can't!
Right.
I gotta pay attention, so I turned on, like, usually I listen to closed captions, unless I'm listening to a musical, because I like to, like, focus on the music. But I turned on closed captions, because I was like, I have no idea what's going on.
I don't know what anyone's saying.
And, like, it would make sense if the musical said, like, some, I don't know, I mean, it's still Disney, but said some, like, problematic things, because the musical didn't come out till 2012, but it didn't.
Right.
Like, there was nothing wrong. Like, I think they said, a minor swear, but they also say it in the musical.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
they
like,
swear all over the place.
Yeah. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know why like there were such like little changes, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I loved that they called him Cowboy. I couldn't get over that. It made me so happy. That's such a good nickname for Jack.
They have like one slight reference to it in the show. And I can't remember where it is, and I just watched it like today after watching the movie on Wednesday or Tuesday. And like I caught the reference because now I know that they called him Cowboy in the movie. So like I caught it and I was like, oh, okay, at least they referenced it.
I missed that. That's interesting.
Yeah, now I feel like... Well, because honestly, I didn't watch the musical because I've seen the musical 18 million times. And like I taught it to my kids last year. So like I know the musical pretty well.
I want to say it's in like after the rally. Yeah. When he's like done with the whole thing and like, yeah, I'm going to Santa Fe. Like, I think someone says like, oh, someone tells him like, oh, go be a cowboy or something like that. And I was like, oh, caught it.
That's cute. Disney always has like little references like that where it doesn't matter if you see the original, it still fits well together, which I really like because some things like when we covered SpongeBob, there were references that took me out of the musical because I didn't get the reference. Whereas I feel like Disney does really well with like still allowing you to be a part of the show. Yeah. If that makes sense.
It's such a small reference that only people who had seen the movie would have gotten it, but you're not missing anything if you haven't seen the movie.
Absolutely. Oh, Casey, I forgot to ask you the question we ask all of our guests.
How dare you?
You might have already kind of answered. I know. It's because I was too excited to talk about Newsies. I'm going to be honest. It's one of my favorite shows. But what, like, I know that you like theater. So what was the first memory of either theater or soundtracks or musicals that you had growing up?
Oh, man. Let me think for a second.
Okay.
We didn't prepare him.
I know.
We're the worst.
I know.
I'm not good at thinking on the fly, so that's...
Oh, listen, we can
Hence
totally take a pause. We can take a pause. No worries.
I really think it was Newsies. I was trying to think if there was something else, but I do think it was Newsies. I don't know if it was the movie or the CD like I mentioned, but yeah, that was the first. And I grew up in a house where musicals were on all the time, like movie musicals, Sound of Music and Singing in the Rain, that kind of stuff. But I do think Newsies was probably the first that I remember.
Well, you mentioned that your dad was in Newsies. Was he an actor when you were growing up?
He didn't really get into stage acting until later, like till after I was a teenager or so. So he's in like a local production of Christmas Carol every Christmas.
That's so awesome.
Well, he has to audition, but they tend to pick him every year. He's just like in the choir, the chorus, the carolers. That's what they're called at Christmas time, carolers. But it's a theater in the round, which is really great. And I feel like seeing it every year sets the Christmas mood, gets me in the Christmas spirit. So
for sure.
But yeah, so he's been in some stuff like that. And then I guess when I was a teenager, he started doing like movies, just little background extra work.
That's cool.
Just local movies. I got to do a couple with him. It was a blast. I loved it.
This is something I did not know.
Yeah, there's like an old, by old I mean like late 90s, sort of Mormon movie called Charlie. Okay. And there's a scene at like a fair with a Ferris wheel, and I walk by a few times in the background, probably
That's cool.
Eating popcorn or something.
That's awesome.
But I loved it. It was like to me, like movies are a big part of my life, but that was the first time I'd been on like a movie set. And I remember they had a lot of kids from the neighborhood that they asked to be in it. And I went, and all the other kids were just like super bored because there's a lot of downtime on a movie set just between setting up shots and stuff. But I was in heaven. I was like, this is the coolest thing. I don't know what any of these people are doing or what that piece of equipment they're carrying is, but I was having the time of my life. I loved it.
That's so cool.
So I just saw Christmas Carol for the first time this year. I didn't really know the story. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
From except for that one Even Stevens episode or like weird references like the Mickey one.
Not even Muppets? Like Iny and I have talked about Muppets all the time. It's the best one.
Sorry, guys.
It is the best one.
With my cocaine.
Yep. It was also in Batman.
I was just going to say, wasn't he Batman too?
So was Kermit. Oh, wait.
No.
So now I'm just like am intrigued because I know nothing about A Christmas Carol, and you've seen A Christmas Carol for a lot of years in a row.
Yeah.
What are your feelings towards A Christmas Carol? Because I have feelings, and I want to know yours.
I know you don't like it, and
I don't. I forget that you listen to our show sometimes.
It's okay. We don't have to like everything. We don't have to be in sync 100% of the time, Becca.
I know, it's usually you and Iny more than
Yeah, it's a little scary sometimes.
It is.
Like a little scary sometimes.
It is. Speaking of which, I interview Iny this week. It'll come out this week.
That's coming. Oh man.
Yeah, this Friday.
That's right.
Side note, people are going to get really sick of me this week because I was also on Tolkien About yesterday. So it's the week of...
It's just the week of Casey.
It's really bad. I did not plan that well, and I'm sorry to everyone's ears.
No, you did plan it well because... Wait a minute. First of all, you're in every single WB&E episode.
Yeah, for real.
Casey's the voice at the beginning, in case you guys didn't realize that.
It still weirds me out. But I also
love it so much.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I was telling you guys before,
it.
I love it except for when it's on our Hello from Elsewhere episodes because it just feels vain. Like, he's putting his own voice at the beginning.
We love it. Every time I edit and I listen to it, I'm like, Casey.
Well, at least you're not as self-centered as Jon Favreau because he puts himself in all of his movies.
So did Hitchcock. I don't think
so
that's self-centered.
A lot of people, Becca.
Guys, I made one movie reference. Let me have it. Guys, Casey gets on me all the time because I tell him I don't watch movies, but one of his show is my favorite show. So, it's fine.
I love that. I think it's like a strange quirk that you have. Like, I don't
Thanks.
watch movies, but I listen to a podcast that is mostly about movies.
Oh, two of them.
That's
I
true.
listen to two of them. And also, I know nothing about Tolkien, and I listen to Tolkien About, so...
You're just broadening your horizons.
Yeah.
That's
and also,
great.
I just really like those people, and I think that they're funny and cool, and you're part of that. So, where was I?
What were we talking about?
I don't remember. Newsies?
I don't know.
Yeah, Casey and I are always on the same wavelength. Like, it's a little scary sometimes. I don't remember what it was, but I was listening to, we're recording this on Friday, so I was listening to today's episode of Hello from Elsewhere, and, Valerie said something, and I answered it, and then you answered it, and I was like, oh my god.
What was it?
So
do you remember?
I don't remember.
I
don't remember what it was at all. But, I remember freaking out about it, and I was in the car, so I couldn't, text you, it happened.
The weird thing is that happens all the time. I think, that's going to be the last time Iny and I are on the same page in a weird way about something, and then it'll happen the next day.
Yep. It's very scary.
Yeah, because so now you're a guest on our show, and Iny's going to be a guest on your show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this happened in October, where we had Ethan on our show, and then you had Ethan on your show, and it was not...
And we both had
right?
Tyler in December as well.
Tyler was the same week too. And this was before we talked to Casey about scheduling anything ever.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just
and now we have to tell him.
And there'll be times where we're both planning the same kind of idea for an episode. Yeah, like our villains that came out right around each other, but we didn't plan that with each other.
Nope.
It just happened.
No.
It just happens. It's
weird.
It's very scary, but also oddly comforting at the same time.
Right. And I figured it out. Remember, it's because Hello from Elsewhere is the beginning of the letter, and Sincerely Us is the end of the letter.
That's true.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
And that's what I'm talking about. My brain capacity could not put the other three in there, but
yeah, I can.
I could get Tolkien.
We'll get there. We'll figure it out.
They're in the body somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. They can just go right in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Something about following dreams and breakfast.
Right.
And bagels.
That's why I said breakfast.
Oh. Well,
It's
I
both
thought
of
I was
them.
cool.
Hey, while we're off topic completely, can I continue the off topic conversation
Absolutely.
here?
Always.
Can we talk about Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist for a
Oh my
second,
god.
please?
Hold on.
Please?
Becca,
Go
have you
for it.
seen it?
I haven't, but you can spoil
Oh
it. It's
my
okay.
God.
No, we're not going to
Okay.
spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Never
You need to watch
mind.
it. We're not going to talk about
if
it.
you guys had texted me and been like, hey, we want to talk about Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, I would have watched it.
Well,
I don't
Valerie-
watch
You should have
TV.
watched it.
We watched it on a whim. We'd heard about it, some people talking about it, probably in the Discord. And then we read the description. We're like, oh, that sounds great. And then we watched it. So it's really
What's
good.
it about?
Is there
Who's in
2
it?
episodes out now, or is it just one?
No, there was just a preview episode, so number 2 doesn't come
Okay.
out till February.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw the first episode like on Facebook, the entire episode. And I was like, oh, cool. This is something I can do right now. And I watched it on my phone. And then I was like, oh, no, I need to put this on TV right now.
Right. Oh, it's
What's it
beautiful.
about?
Okay, so the concept is like she hears what people are thinking, but through song.
So her life has become a musical.
Interesting.
And of course, she's not a big fan of music. So she's kind of awkward and uncomfortable with the whole thing where people are singing and dancing around her.
Yep.
So she's Patrick Dempsey from Enchanted.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
I've never seen Enchanted.
Oh my gosh.
But you pull that reference out of nowhere?
Okay,
You're a
I am a
savant.
person on
It's 'cause
the
of the
internet. Yeah, it's the
Because of
meme.
the meme.
It's
How
kind
did
of
they
a...
know? How did they know all the steps? How did they
Well,
know
also
all the words?
Patrick Dempsey is like a Maine native, so I know everything about him.
I love Patrick Dempsey so much.
Also, Anna Kendrick is. I love her too. So
I also love her. Yeah. So
Donny Osmond's from Utah.
she is. I love her.
Donny Osmond is a male.
Oh, I thought you said Emily Osmond.
Oh, Haley Joel Osment's sister? I have no
from
idea.
Hannah Montana.
I don't know where she's from. Sorry. Probably not.
Hannah Montana.
She's not from Utah. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, she's probably from LA. Oh, that's really funny.
Sorry.
Anyway, so it looks really good. Lauren Graham?
Yeah.
Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls is in it. Skylar Astin's in it, so I don't know why you haven't watched this already.
Oh, then I do know about that show.
And what is the neighbor's name? Alex Newell from Glee.
Oh, Newell.
Sure.
He's from Massachusetts. He's
Okay.
from like the city my family is from, Lynn.
I thought it was someone else. I could be wrong.
No, that's Alex Newell from Glee. Is her
The
neighbor.
Glee Project.
The neighbor.
That's her.
Okay.
That's her neighbor.
It's kind of a heavy show in spots. It was heavier than I thought it would be
Yeah.
dramatically, but really good.
Yeah.
Is it long?
No, I think it was like half an hour.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
40-minute show or so. But it's shot like a film. It's really beautiful.
It's
I always am intrigued by that. I'm like, how much like effort and money goes into this? I am not up for that. Because like, so the thing that I love about theater is that it like goes up and then you never have to do it again. Whereas I feel like they put all of this effort, months and months and months and months into it, and then they have to do it all over again. And I'm like, that sounds exhausting. Which is why I could never be a Broadway stage manager. That sounds exhausting.
Right.
yeah. You should definitely watch it.
I will.
Tori also like highly recommends it. So
Hi, Tori.
now that Tori has said it, I'm sure she'll go and do it.
The Tory Wood?
The Tori Wood.
Wow.
You know.
We're in good company. I just said good because I try to say great and good at the same time. I'm a professional. It's fine.
So Newsies.
Newsies. Oh, I have some interesting tidbit about back to the female characters. So
Yes, I love Casey Tidbit.
So I didn't know this, and this is the most exciting thing that I learned.
Yes.
The actress that played what was her name in the movie? Sarah? Is that her name?
The sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she has like one line in that one song. What's the song? You know the song. In the Basement. Whatever the song is. And she's got like one line in the song, and it's clearly not her voice. It's clearly someone
Yeah.
else's voice. I always assumed, and everyone always assumed, it's because like, oh, she doesn't have a great voice, so they just threw a random voice in there. And there was rumors for years that, oh, they even had a song, a full song for her, and they cut it from the movie, and people just assumed they cut it from the movie because she can't sing,
Right.
which is not true at all. She was trained as a singer from childhood, but
wow.
the problem was she was an alto, and her voice was deeper than all the boys, and so that's why they cut it.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
And so she's out there trying to like be like, no, I can sing. Why does everyone think I can't sing?
That poor girl.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
for
That's
real.
not fair.
Well, so when I was in chorus in 7th grade, my teacher, when they, like, at the beginning of chorus, when they, like, go around and decide which parts you'll sing, my teacher looks at me and goes, well, you're a tenor, but you're a girl, so you're a really low alto. She's like, but your voice range is a tenor. And I was like,
Well done.
that does great for my 13-year-old self-esteem. Thank you. But that's why, like, all of my dream roles are all male. I love them so much. I want to be Washington from Hamilton more than anything in my entire life. But I am not as talented as Christopher Jackson. That was
Chris
a little
Jax.
rant. Also in Moana.
Yep.
Love him.
I've been a bass since birth, so.
Yeah. Did you come out? Was your cry like down there?
Wow.
Did you always have a deep voice like as a kid?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh.
Because my nephew has a very deep voice, and he's like 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like kind of frightening.
When I laugh, like really, Casey's real laugh is very high pitched. I think it's because when my voice was changing, I must have been just very sad and didn't laugh enough. And so my laugh didn't change, but my voice changed. I don't think that's true.
Oh, I was like so intrigued. You could tell me literally anything.
I was just like, why are you so sad?
You guys aren't picking up my dry humor.
No.
Well, I did have
it's
some
fine.
sadness as a child, but that was all a lie.
Casey,
I just had a really high-pitched laugh. I
So
don't know.
funny. I have a really loud laugh, but I'm a loud human.
She is very loud.
Yeah. Loud and enthusiastic. And that's why people always ask me, are you okay if I'm being quiet? I'm like, yes, I'm fine.
That happened to me so much when we were at Disney.
Are you okay?
Becca would just like stop talking. I'm like, are you okay? Is everything fine? Like, what's wrong? What's going on? Nothing. We've just been here for 12 hours.
Yeah, literally. Speaking of, Casey, you're going to Disneyland.
I am in April.
Are you the
I'm
most
so
excited?
I went once when I was a wee lad, and it's been a long time. Valerie's never been, and of course the kiddos have never been, so... Oh my goodness, your face is right now.
I know.
That makes
the
me so
kiddos,
happy.
forgot that they were going to Disney.
Yesterday.
They did?
Yeah, when we were talking to them, we were asking about their Christmas presents.
And they forgot, yeah.
And they forgot.
Because it's not tangible,
where are we going?
you know?
And it was adorable.
Yeah, it was wicked.
I'm so excited you guys are going to Disney.
I know. Galaxy's Edge is calling to me. I can't wait.
Are you gonna build all the things?
What?
Are you gonna build all the things? The lightsaber and the droid and stuff?
Lightsabers are so expensive, so probably not. But I think we'll build a droid. That's kind of the plan. I'm a droid
cool.
person anyways,
You are.
so yeah.
That's awesome.
You get like your own. I would do a purple BB-8. That's my dream.
Well,
they're
kids...
starting to come out with more shapes now. So hopefully
really?
by the time you get there, they should have a couple more shapes. So it'll be less like, oh, you can have BB-8 or R2-D2 in different colors, and it'll be like a droid that you build.
Perfect. The kids want to do a blue and pink BB unit because the daughter's favorite color is pink. The son's favorite color is blue, so they're trying to compromise with each other there.
That's so cute. I love them. Sometimes I forget that, like, we don't live close to each other because I follow Valerie on Instagram and see every single thing she posts. And I'm like, Casey's kids are so funny.
Yeah.
I know them so
smart.
well. I know.
We just need to have, like, weekly Skype hangouts, and then we can
do.
just all hang out and chat.
For real.
I would love that.
I'm down for that.
Okay, let's do it.
We should have, like, game night.
Okay, I'm down.
Awesome. So, Newsies.
Oh, man, we're really bad.
That's okay. I love getting
It's
off topic. I think,
Did you know the movie, like, bombed like crazy?
I mean,
It was one of...
I'm not going to lie. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it came
Like,
out...
it was right after Lion King? Because this is 92. When did Lion King... Oh, no, Lion King came out after that. What came out in 92?
I don't know.
Toy Story's 94, 95.
Yeah, like, musicals in live action were not in vogue, and so I think that was part of it. It cost $15 million to make,
Yikes.
and only made $2.8 million.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of the biggest bombs in Disney's like live action history. And then it kind of got a cult following on VHS and then later DVD. But
Lion King was 94.
Yeah.
So Beauty and the Beast came out in 91, and then Aladdin came out in 92. So, I mean, Disney animation renaissance was in full effect. But, I'm honestly not surprised. Because what was the last live action musical that Disney did was, let me think. They had to have done something after Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I can think of is Mary Poppins.
Where was Mighty Ducks?
No, I'm talking about musicals.
Oh. I love
Mighty Ducks the musical.
Don't even joke about that. I would love that. I love the Mighty Ducks.
It's great.
We had a day
Cake
in
eater.
we had a day in when I was in college that they played all three like in one of our lecture halls, and we just all sat and watched it all day. It was 4.5 hours, which is a lot to hang out with people that are college aged. But one of my favorite things is I went to school in Bangor, Maine, and in the third one, while Iny is looking this up, in the third one, there's a girl from Bangor, Maine, or the second one. whatever the international one is.
Cool.
And so
that's the second one.
Yeah. And so there was like everyone literally stood up and cheered, and it was great because it's based off of a real thing. And none of us realized that there was a Bangor girl in it. And we were like, yeah! It was great.
That's amazing.
Okay, so we have Mary Poppins in 64, The Happiest Millionaire in 67, and then they don't really do anything live action musical until Popeye in 1980. And then Newsies. So I'm not really surprised that it bombed. I don't think Disney was known for their live action musicals.
Yeah.
I can't think of any Disney live action musical movies.
Enchanted.
Now.
Yeah, they're hard to think of. They're hard to come by.
I loved Enchanted.
Mary Poppins too.
I mean, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm trying to think of other ones. Cinderella.
Mary Poppins.
That wasn't live action.
No, the remakes don't count.
They're live action musicals.
The remakes don't count.
Fine. Iny always gets on me. All right, Casey, I need your opinion on this.
Oh, gosh.
Iny always gets on me whenever I say that my favorite Disney musical... What do I say my favorite Disney musical is? I don't remember. Oh, Mary Poppins. And Iny's always like, but what about Newsies? And I'm like, I understand that it's a Disney property, but it's so much more than a Disney property if we're talking about the musical.
It's a Disney movie. I don't it's literally, the music's by Alan Menken.
No.
Like, really? How is it, how could it be more of a Disney musical?
No, it's less of a musical.
I know. I'm asking you, how could it be more of a Disney musical?
It swears. It's not a cartoon. I don't know what to tell you.
It's literally about the Newsies. And do you know what Walt Disney was when he was a child?
Oh, really?
A newsie.
It's amazing. He didn't grow up in New York, though.
No, he didn't.
Oh, another Easter egg I found. Because I love the musical so much. The original story is based off of a kid named Kid Blink, who was, he had an eye patch, and that's why they called him Kid Blink. Anyway, there's a character in the movie called Kid Blink, and there's a kid that wears an eye patch.
Yeah.
So that made me happy.
I just learned that this week, too. I didn't know that either till just now.
Oh, really?
Well, yesterday, yeah.
So good. I just love this story so much.
I love this story. I love the way that Disney put it together, both in the movie and in the show. I love the show so much. But I mean, we all know how I feel about Jeremy Jordan. So it's very difficult for me to watch a show and be like objective because I love him so much. His voice is so good. I literally like rewinded Santa Fe like 3 times while I was watching it because it's so good.
Okay, I'm going to show my ignorance. The first thing I saw Jeremy Jordan in was Supergirl, the TV show, which
Fair.
does not,
It's fair.
which doesn't have, he's not singing and dancing in that. So
No,
it wasn't
he's
even
not.
until it probably wasn't even until your show that I realized that he was the original Jack Kelly on the stage version. But he is so good. Oh my gosh.
He's
I
incredible.
loved
You
him.
would love him.
He's so good.
He's
so
very
good.
sweet and talented, and like, I don't know, I feel like you guys would be BFFs, even though I don't know him personally.
I love him so much.
Well, I just feel like, I love Christian Bale, but I do feel like Jeremy Jordan has just such good like energy and charisma, and
Yeah.
he's just so good.
Okay, so one of the other differences we talked about, first of all, now I can't remember. Do they call him Davy in the movie, or they just call him David?
I think some of the Newsies call him Davy.
Jack always calls him Davy.
Yeah,
Okay.
almost like mocking. But I think he introduces himself as David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he introduces himself as Davy in the musical, because that's like his name. But that was a side tangent. But one of the other things that I liked more about the musical than the movie is how much of a leader. I felt like Jack was much more of a leader in the musical, whereas I felt like he was just the speaking point for Davy in the movie. Like, there's that dynamic in the musical a little bit, but I think it was much more prominent in the movie. Honestly, probably because, like you said, Christian Bale didn't want to be in a musical, so he was like, meh. But I just think that. And it also may just be that I think Jeremy Jordan is so charismatic and charming.
Yeah, he's so...
Yeah. But you also see it...
personality.
Yeah.
You also see it in, I think is it The World Will Know? And they're getting like super angry. Like there's a lot of anger and like fire in the stage version.
Yeah.
That's not, it's not really, it doesn't have the same energy in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's when, like, I was talking because I was watching it during my lunch break with the two girls that I work with, and like, so we had it on the TV, and I'm like, I don't know what it is about like Revolution musicals that just get me so hyped. I'm like, let's go, let's burn this building down right now. I'm with you.
Actually, now that you say that, 3 of my top musicals are all about Revolution. Oh, maybe we should do a theme.
We should.
This is why we need a Star Wars musical all about the rebellion against the Empire.
That is true. There is a Star Wars musical.
That's true. I heard about that.
I can't watch it for like another 4 years.
I haven't seen it either. So maybe
apparently
we should just cover it.
That's Becca, not what you said. You said that you always like Star Wars. You just, whenever a new one comes out, you're like, oh yeah, I love Star Wars. So it's more like a reminder.
I've never considered myself a Star Wars fan. Like when people... Like, when you guys talk about Star Wars in the Discord and stuff, I'm always like, I can't contribute to this because I don't remember what happened, but I really, really, really enjoy it while it's happening. So, like, especially when we were talking to your son last night, when he was going off about all these different droids, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's why every single answer was, my favorite's Rey.
Do you want to be a Star Wars fan?
Yes.
Then you're a Star Wars fan.
Thank you.
Yeah,
see,
like, that's
Casey's...
There's no gate. There's no, like...
Nope.
You have to answer some trivia.
No, I know. I just never considered myself a Star Wars fan until I became friends with all of you guys. And then you guys were like, Star Wars is awesome. And I'm like, Star Wars is awesome.
Isn't it, though?
Oh, it's the best.
Let's just take a moment.
Iny's imagining Adam Driver as Ben Solo, but the musical version.
So actually, we discussed this in our second Green Room episode, our bonus episode, because we had a question from Tyler asking like, which trilogy would you make into a musical? And we both agreed that it should be like this newest trilogy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then I started casting it in my head. I started casting it in my head, and it was just like, I need this
besides
to happen.
Ben Solo, because now I'm curious, and I have all of your attention. Who is your favorite character besides Ben Solo?
Poe.
No, I do love Poe, but, oh gosh, now I'm just thinking about Oscarito. No, my favorite is R2-D2.
Why?
Yeah, R2-D2 is the hero of the original trilogy. And the prequel trilogy. He saves everyone's lives multiple times. They'd all be dead without R2-D2. But I'm a big Luke fan, and Rey, definitely, I love Rey. Like, if I had to pick top 2, it's Rey and Ben, for sure.
I was always a Leia fan growing up just because I'm a girl, and she was a girl, and she was badass and saving the boys, so I was all about that. And then the prequel series came out, and I was all about Padme because of the same thing. She wasn't just, the queen. She was really smart and kicking butt, and I loved it. And I love Rey. Like, I love Rey a lot. I don't say Rey because Becca's answer is always Rey. And I, like, not gonna lie, when she turned her lightsaber on at the end, I, like, sobbed.
That's so cool. So cool.
I mean, we can spoil it. It's yellow. It's my favorite color. I was just like, oh, my heart. I still hadn't, like, completely, absorbed what happened at the end of that movie. And then she turned her lightsaber on and it was yellow. And I was just like,
aren't there, like, different meanings to the Star Wars colors? Why do I feel like
the lightsabers colors?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yellow is generally the guardians of the Jedi Temple. So.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Yeah. She's kind of the guardian of the Jedi now. So.
I love Rey No Name.
Right.
This is like when Iny was trying not to spoil Frozen 2 for me. Just dropping major hints.
That was the worst week of my life. It was like the worst couple of days because like everyone assumed that I saw it opening night because I watch everything opening night and I just didn't. So like everybody was texting me and I was like, I will literally end our friendship if you continue texting me. And and so I finally saw it and then I realized that I really wanted to talk to Becca about it and Becca hadn't seen it either. So it was very frustrating.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh my gosh, Casey. Well,
I didn't get to see as many last year.
Didn't she?
Yeah, she took the 4-year-old. They had a date, so
Aww.
So they've been singing it all the time. I haven't really tried to avoid spoilers. I don't really know what happens, but I know enough.
Yeah, not very good secret keepers.
The daughter keeps telling me.
4-year-olds.
Yeah, she was telling us that she's very excited to meet Elsa at Disneyland.
Oh, she's so excited.
I have never gone with a little girl before. I've only ever gone with my nephew. Mm-hmm. Who literally, well, I won't say that because we're a family-friendly thing, and it might be a spoiler for Disney. But
you've definitely said that story on this show before.
Have I?
Yeah.
I still feel uncomfortable, so I'm just not going to. But he was so excited to fight Darth Vader that I can't even imagine going with a little girl and getting to meet like her favorite princess, which I know is gender roles, but also I cried when I met my favorite princess.
What year did Frozen come out?
2013.
2013. I don't know how to do math. I was in my 20s when I met Elsa at Disney World, and I you see all of the pictures of me and Elsa, like my face is red and my eyes are watery because I was crying. So it's fine. But also when I walked into Galaxy's Edge, like my stepdad was just sobbing.
Yeah, I recorded his
Becca
reaction.
recorded Willie's like entire reaction.
He cried the whole so not even that. Like her mom went to go change into a Star Wars shirt for like pictures and stuff, and so we were waiting in Hollywood Studios like outside the entrance, but we went far enough away that he couldn't see anything. Yeah. And we were just waiting. It was the three of us, and he just started crying. And I'm like, Willie, we're not even close. He's like, I'm just so excited.
He cried the entire time.
That. Actually, that makes me so happy.
That may be what made me like unapologetic Star Wars fan.
Was being at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
And like riding the Millennium Falcon.
What is that? Smuggler's Run? It's so good. Oh my God, Casey, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to go.
I also can't wait for your son to see it.
He's going to love it. And the daughter loves it too. Like she'll get really excited about all of it. So,
that's so awesome.
I love
even
that
the toddler, she'll freak out. She'll say deet toot, and
she's the cutest.
Probably breathe like
you
Darth
have
Vader.
Adorable kids.
Yeah, we love your kids a lot.
I like them too.
Are they tall enough to get on like the rides? Do you know? Have you researched that yet?
I haven't checked yet.
Yeah,
I should do that. I'm like a noob to all this. I don't know what to find out.
We will talk.
I know.
And we will plan your trip.
That's good. Well, and luckily,
I will help.
We're going with some friends that
good.
They've been often too. So we're not completely in the dark, but
that's good. Just make sure you get your fast pass.
Well, it's a little different for Disneyland.
Oh, that's right. It's Disneyland. Never mind. You have to go like get them in person.
It's weird.
Oh, that's
you can do it on the
worst. Can you?
Yeah.
I don't know the words you're using, but
sorry. This is, sometimes we get that I forget that not everyone speaks Disney. Do you know what a fast pass is?
I assume it's a pass that lets you go fast.
There's two lines in Disney World and Disneyland.
I remember this from my childhood. You can stand in the regular line,
or you can go at a certain time.
At Disney World, they have brought it into the 21st century, and you can plan your trips ahead of time and plan up to 3 fast passes a day. And you basically say, okay, I have an hour, so from this time to this time, I can go on this ride with my fast pass, and you have 3 of those. But at Disneyland, they haven't done that yet.
Oh.
Well, actually, I like the Disneyland system more.
Oh, okay.
Because at Disneyland, you get 3 a day. So what you want to do is get them all in the morning, because once your fast passes are up, you can on the app add more, and then once that one's up, you can add more. Sorry, Casey, we just went into Disney talk.
It's not a Disney fan cast, I promise.
Yeah. That's my line.
Iny, in our next preview, can you just take that line
for real?
Yes. And put it at the end.
Anytime you talk about Disney, just throw my voice in there.
That's gonna be at the end of every episode now.
At the end of the music, you'll be the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm taking over. This is bad.
Instead of a smile that spreads like butter, you got a voice that spreads like butter. That was the wrong motif, but everyone just ignore that.
I know what you're going for.
It was the same song, just the wrong motif.
Yeah.
So Newsies.
So this was Kenny Ortega's directing debut. Can you believe that? Without Newsies, there is no High School Musical. It doesn't exist.
Look, Becca's buffering. Hold on.
As a choreographer, I love Kenny Ortega.
I think he did both.
That blew my mind.
I believe. Could be wrong.
I mean, I can see that. He's really good at ensemble, like, dance breaks, and he's not very good at solos, and, like,
yes.
It's very obvious. Oh, wait, he's not the choreographer in this. Then I don't know what I'm talking about. Is he the choreographer in this?
Wow, he's done, like, all of the Disney things. He did the Descendants, too.
Oh, yeah, he's like, their choreographer.
Okay. Cheetah Girls. But Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, there's dancing in that.
Hoko Poco.
In the 80s, he did, like, Dirty Dancing. He choreographed that, and Ferris Bueller, the dance numbers in that.
That's amazing.
But Newsies was like the first time he actually directed.
So he's done literally everything I love. I didn't know that he did outside of Disney, which, I mean, I should have. He's
the light of your life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I love that.
My Lommel.
Lommel.
It's the first time I've ever said that, and it brought me the most joy. It brought me the most joy.
Do we have any...
Give us an earthquake or a war.
Do we have any other thoughts?
I have not... hold on. I would like to say I've not sang in this episode.
I'm honestly, like, shocked.
Just now. And that is a feat.
Like, Becca was singing Newsies when we were talking about, like, Beetlejuice. So it's fine. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised you haven't.
Wait, Casey, do you have a favorite song?
From Newsies or a favorite song in life?
From Newsies.
Honestly, I'm bad at remembering the titles of the stage versions because I'm still getting used to it.
That's fine.
But
okay. That's okay. Mm-hmm.
The one that Catherine, is that her name?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm feeling tired
Watch
or something.
Happens.
Yes,
Oh,
I love
so
that
good.
song. I love that song so much.
So that
fast.
song gets me so pumped because I stand in my room. This is blackmail material, everyone. I stand in my room and I stand in front of my mirror and I pretend that I'm on stage and I sing that song to my mirror. That is my jam around my room song.
I love that. That's delightful. Yeah. In terms of like songs that are in both, I always loved Seize the Day. It was always my favorite. We got to sing that in like 7th grade choir.
Jealous.
And no, I do not remember the dance moves that went along with it.
Is there a video somewhere?
At the bottom.
Oh, okay.
At the bottom of the ocean, yes. No, if it was filmed, I don't know where that video camera device is. So
That's awesome. I love Seize the Day. Santa Fe is I'm very basic. Santa Fe is my favorite song.
Well, I made my mom watch it because she was like, "What is this? What is this musical that you keep talking about?" And she likes musicals, so I was like, "Well, Mom, it's recorded, so you should go watch it." And at the end of Act 1, she like came out to get some water or something, and I was like, "So what's your favorite song?" She goes, "Obviously Santa Fe. Why did you even ask?" And I'm like, yeah, Jeremy Jordan will do that to you.
He
I did
melts
really like
my heart
Christian Bale
so
though.
much.
Yeah.
Okay, so my problem is that I heard the Jeremy Jordan version first, because I feel like if I didn't know the Jeremy Jordan version, I would have liked the Christian Bale version, because I think he puts a lot of like emotion into it. But Jeremy Jordan is just like he breaks my heart, and I literally melt every time he sings that song, and I've seen him perform that song on YouTube like 1,000 times.
He's so good.
Like all of his performances.
I really love him. I feel like we haven't talked enough about the stage version. I feel like that's my fault, so I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's fine. We talked... Okay, honestly, Casey, we talked about Catherine Plummer, and we talked about how awesome Jeremy Jordan is.
We're good.
We Gucci.
As the youth say.
Can you explain to a very old man what TikTok is?
It's longer Vine. With dances.
Can you explain to an old man what Vine is?
Vine was...
I know what Vine is. I was just being facetious, but...
To be fair, I never had Vine. Like, I missed that whole thing. I think I was too old for that as well. Yeah.
But I feel like Iny and I are closer than, like, in terms of the stuff we were into or understand.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm explaining that, but...
This is why Becca handles our social media. Yeah, I missed the whole Vine thing. Because, I mean, like, when were you into Vine? Like, your senior year of high school?
No, my freshman year of college.
Okay. So, I was already, like,
senior in college.
21, 22.
Yeah, what year was that?
2013.
I was already graduated from college. Fine. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you feel young. I'm trying to say that Casey, I'm old. Now I've offended you.
You have not. I work with 45, 70-year-old men all day, every day. You're not yelling at me about being a millennial, so we're cool.
That's fair. I think technically I'm a millennial too, so it's fine.
I was like, I think you're on the older side of the millennials.
What are you saying?
Like, that you're old.
You're old.
I thought it was very clear. Because Linton and my brother are 2.5 years older than me, and they're still technically millennials. And I think you're only like a year older than them.
I'm 32. I'm not afraid to say that. So whatever that means to you.
You are exactly a year older than them.
Okay.
Linton
I just turned 25 in April. And by just, I mean last year.
You're practically 30.
I'm turning 29.
Right. No, and then you'll be 29 forever. It's fine.
Forever.
This is not even close to what we're supposed to be talking about, but it's time to wrap up the show, actually.
All right, cool. The point is, we love Newsies, both movie and musical.
Both. Like
yes,
if we were bacon and eggs, I would say they're both ones.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
I mean, I completely agree with that. If you have Disney Plus, there's literally no excuse for you not to watch both of them because they're both on there, and they're both delightful.
Agreed. Love it.
All
right, cool. Let's start wrapping up. Am I starting?
Yep, you're yellow.
Hold on, I don't have our notes in front of me.
They're color coded. Oh, that's
They have to be.
That's so smart.
There's two of us.
Well, there's also two of him.
Yes, there are two of me.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, you just throw your voice when it's Valerie. Valerie doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I actually almost introduced you.
We were talking about that before.
As my favorite podcaster's husband.
You should have. That would have been so funny.
I told you.
Well, that's just a little treat for the people who stayed until the end. I adore Valerie. She's my favorite. So
Valerie's literally the best.
I agree 100%. Valerie is a 1. Of course,
for sure.
She's a 10.
Yeah,
you have to be careful of saying she's a 1. Right. On the binary,
binary scale. We understood
I'm falling
you.
down a hole. Okay.
We understood you. On the binary scale, Valerie is a 1.
Yes.
On the 1 to 10 scale, Valerie is like a 15.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Just so that we're clear and there are no misunderstandings.
She'll just laugh. She's cool as a cucumber, you know.
She is. She's always the first one in our channel being like, I loved your episode today. And I'm like, I love you, though.
All right, for real, let's wrap up.
Okay.
All right. If you like our show, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out immensely, and you might hear us read one of your reviews on the show. Like this week's review is from Your Mother and Everybody. Okay. And they say, as someone who likes musical theater but isn't super involved in the community, this podcast is amazing. Becca and Iny are so awesome at reviewing a bunch of different productions that anyone can listen to. I learn about a different production my life was missing out on every time they upload. Love you lots. Oh, that's so sweet.
I really want to know who that is.
I don't know
if that
who
was
it
you,
is.
Tweet us.
Yes.
If you're Your Mother and Everyone, is that what it was?
Your Mother and Everybody.
I think it's Your Mother, Becca.
Oh, it's definitely not my mother. She doesn't listen to our show.
It's not my mother. She doesn't have an iPhone.
She downloads it though, so
She does.
it's fine.
Yeah. If that's you, tweet us, please.
Yeah.
We want to know who you are.
You can go to patreon.com/sincerelyyes to become a patron of Sincerely Yes. Our first 25 patrons will receive a signed postcard. There are a bunch of tiers to choose from, but our most popular one is the $3 tier, which grants you access to our Discord that we share with the other WB&E creators, like Casey.
Yes.
I'm on
that's
there.
And his wife.
That's
I'm on there way
also-
too much.
Also where we met Casey.
Yeah. That's where we
I
became
still
best
remember
friends.
Casey. Like, I remember Casey joining and like, I have a podcast. I was like, oh, cool, awesome. What is it? And I like, it was back when it was still Docking Bay and what was it? Docking Bay 3/4?
9 3/4. Yeah.
There it is. I forgot the 9. I said it in my
Can't
brain.
even find that anymore. It doesn't exist.
Well, it did when you joined, and I remember
it
listening
did.
to a lot of it, and I was just like, this man's voice.
Absolutely.
I remember that you told me, you're like, I don't know if this is weird to say, but I love your voice. You were so nervous to tell me that.
Literally the first thing I was like, oh my God. Wow. That's not what I was expecting.
See, but the thing is, honestly, this is just me talking about how wonderful I find Valerie, because we talk all the time about how wonderful your voice is, but her voice is just as great. Like,
Absolutely.
I love both of you. Anyway, for $10, yeah, exactly. For $10, you can get access to our bonus show, The Green Room, where we cover topics that don't fit into the main show. It's a lot of fun. I have no idea what we're doing this week, but this is where I would normally talk about what we're doing this week.
No idea what we're doing this week. We'll
no
figure
idea.
that out.
We're just going to turn it on and see what happens.
For $5, you can get a shout out on the show. This episode is brought to you by Haley, Claire, Josh, Christy, Linton, Mats, and Sydney. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support our show and making our dreams of podcasting come true.
Also, we keep forgetting to talk about it
every week.
We have a free Facebook page. It's awesome. You can find it at bit.ly/sincerelyfb. There we share memes, and sometimes I ask questions for the week, for like our bonus episode, or I give hints on what's going to be coming up. So get in that. It's great.
You guys should join.
Sincerely Us is a proud member of WB&E. There's a bunch of shows that we both love, like Bacon and Eggs and Casey's Show. Casey's Show, hello from elsewhere. The newest show on the network is Bagels, which is hosted by Tyler and Emily Carlin. Here's a preview.
Hello, I'm Tyler Carlin, and I love you.
And I'm Emily Carlin, and I love you too.
And if you love someone, or you love, you should listen to our new podcast, Bagels!
We're not experts, but we sure would like to be.
And we believe the best way to get better at something is to practice.
So listen to our story as it unfolds as young parents.
As best friends.
As husband and wife.
As we explore what relationships mean to us and to those around us.
Bagels, available now at WBNE.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Aren't they the cutest?
Oh, I love them.
We love Tyler and Emily. Casey, where can people find you on the internet?
My personal Instagram and Twitter are at Ice Cream Manatee. And the podcast Hello from Elsewhere is at elsewhere_pod on Twitter and Instagram. And you can check out the podcast. It's wherever you want to listen with your ears.
If you follow them on Instagram, sometimes he asks awesome questions that relate to the show. It's
I
very
do.
Good social media.
And
Very
I always
important
cheat.
questions.
I
You
always
do
cheat.
I
Casey's
cheat
always
too.
like, tell me one thing, and I list like 9 things. You can also check out all of the WB&E shows at WBNE.org.
Yes.
And as always, you can follow our podcast on Twitter and Instagram at SincerelyUsPod. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _EnyMeeny. That's INYMEENY.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca Eddows. That's BECCAEDDOWS. Our art is by Vaishon Brandon of Graphite. He also made Casey's. So you can follow him on Instagram at graphite.vmb. And the most inspirational quote from Newsies I'm about to leave you with. Are you ready, Casey?
I'm so ready.
The world is your oyster.
Sincerely, us.
Happy Deeps.